Hello, I'm Anthony Giarrusso, and on 4/22, 2023, I observed a sea monster ghost. When it comes to the paranormal, I've made many connections, and only a tiny amount, a significant minority of them were skeptics. Yes, a lot of people are fearful of coming out with their paranormal stories and their encounters due to skeptics and ridicule. But something the skeptics don't want you to know is you can counter ridicule them. It is a two-way street. You need to stand up for yourself and tell your truths, even though they blatantly disregard yours. I saw something very bizarre. And as it is a theory, because I've tested this theory, but it's a theory that only I can test. My theory developed from an original hypothesis that all of these weird, bizarre things are specifically for me to see and not for others to see or experience. However, I make these videos and I come out to tell you what I have observed. I don't really like to speculate. I don't really like to anticipate. I know it's fun a lot of times, but I'm just trying to observe and report what happened with this encounter and with all my other encounters. Why was it a sea monster? Well, I was at the beach and I saw it in the water while I was walking on the beach. It had adaptations to it that were aquatic in nature. It was a ghost because it phased in and then phased out. So I'm just walking along and I see this thing. It literally phases into existence, pure solid, just like a ghost. And I've seen plenty of ghosts like this typical behavior of ghosts where they just seem to show up, move a bit, and then vanish. When I first saw it, I wasn't sure if I really saw it kind of manifest itself or if it was really just coming out of the water. But then once I saw it go back into the water, it disappeared before the whole body of this unusual entity could go into the water. It was about the size of a full-grown manatee and had manatee grayish colored skin, but I noticed most of its body had even darker gray splotches on it. Imagine if you had ever seen a paintbrush that had paint on it and you splattered paint onto a canvas and it kind of makes like this splat shape. Well, that's what these markings on the skin look like. They were darker splats. The weirdest thing is I noticed on top of this manatee-like body, it had these fins that looked like the back of nurse shark tail. And they were kind of like flopping back and forth like this. All of the fins were in line on the back. And I could tell that there was like a thicker part at the front of the fin and a thinner part at the back of the fin. So you could definitely tell the difference between thickness. And also, when it became fully solid, I actually saw the fins and the light of the sun reflecting back off of that. And it was a completely solid, unknown thing. I also noticed that there were no splotches of that dark gray near the front of the entity. I never saw its head, and I never saw what I thought might be a tail. It came out of the water going up, almost as if it was going to take a breath of air, but I never saw it take a breath of air. I never saw its face. Right, if it had a blowhole, I never saw that. And near the front, it almost had kind of like these almost like gills or something, or maybe it's just the shape of the head. And it almost looked like a shield, where it would just kind of like come out a little bit. I don't know if that was gills or just the shape of the head. I have no idea. So I tried to draw a picture of it. I'm not very good at drawing pictures, but before I show you that picture, I want to show you the picture of the nurse shark tail. So here's a nurse shark. Notice how its tail looks like a knife, and it's thinner at the bottom, and it's thicker on top. That's something I want you to look at when I show you this. Okay. Now, I am aware that, yes, whales will roll over, okay, on their side sometimes near the surface, and maybe that's what this entity was doing, but I don't know. Okay, so this was the head with no splotches, and it had this almost shield-like shape to the head. Okay, kind of like, you guys all know what a shield looks like, right? Like a sword and a shield. You know what a shield is. I'm not going to explain it. You should already know. But the fins, okay, they were thicker here and thinner here, just like the tail of the nurse shark. Okay. And the fins are kind of moving like this. So imagine like this part of the fin doing this. Okay, and honestly, I thought there could have been, for, I don't know, like a brief second or a brief couple of seconds, I thought I was seeing as many as 6 of these. But there were 4 for sure. I verified at least 4 of these fins. And there were splotches on the fins and on the body. And they were light gray. It was like light gray skin with dark gray splotches. Similar to what I did with pencil. And this line is the water, if you were wondering. So here and here, that's the line of the water. Like I said, the width of it looked like about a manatee width. But before it submerged, it vanished. Just like all the ghosts that I have seen. And I don't need to go anywhere to see ghosts because I've seen ghosts here in my bedroom. It is just so fascinating to me that I saw something that nobody else has reported. And because of this suddenly appearing, suddenly disappearing type things, I've now verified for myself that when people used to tell stories of sea monsters suddenly appearing and disappearing, now I see them more credible. In fact, I think they're 100% credible now. The only thing, though, is that it's not really life-changing. A lot of people want to push this narrative, which doesn't make any sense to me. I really don't understand it. But I understand that for some people it probably is life-changing, but when I see stuff like this, it's not changing my life. I mean, it's giving me more content to share with you and let other people know, hey, these things are actually real, and that you should never fear ridicule from skeptics. But it's not really changing my life. Or if it is changing my life, it's so minutely that I don't even notice it. In this picture, I tried to draw the fins or something, or whatever the heck they are. And I'm not the best drawer in the world. But for some reason, I felt like the flippers, or some of the flippers kind of looked like this. But I can't really remember exactly how they were, but they were something like this. And all four of them would have been the same. But I do remember that they were kind of pointy near the end. So they weren't just rounded like these other two. They were kind of pointy, but I don't remember if it came out here towards it or if it went all the way down like in these ones, but it was pretty close to that. And it reminded me most of this nurse shark's tail, where it's thick here and thin here. And remember, they were moving like this, right where this part of the fin would be. Okay, kind of right there like that. So, I'm Anthony Giarrusso, /22, 2023. Do not fear skeptics. Overcome them by releasing all your information about anything paranormal that you have seen. And if you have any questions for me about this particular encounter, or if you would like to talk to somebody in private about your sea monster sighting that you have had on your own, or possibly with other people, email me at wondersofanthony@gmail.com. Have a wonderful day. Bye.